guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we're checking out this Red Rock HD tailgate reinforcement kit fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos. Now, if you're looking for more strength for your tailgate and a reinforcement system that will bulk up your hinges with no questions asked, this kit is going to do just that. Now, this system offers more than the typical reinforcement bracket for the Bronco owner who is concerned for the life of their tailgate with a larger or heavier spare in the back, especially if you're moving into that 37-inch plus size territory. Oversized tires are notorious for causing issues with swing action tailgates because of the drastic increase when upgrading to a larger size spare. Now, this kit features replacement hinges that are much beefier than stock and a brace that mounts over top of it, adding into the reinforcement of the hinges itself and just adding rigidity into the connection of the body to the tailgate panel. Now, working together, these add much more support to the tailgate than the current system and prevent any sagging or movement over time that can cause issues with closing the gate. Now, the entire system here is made of a heavy-duty steel construction, resisting the weight of the oversized tire well, and is covered in a matte black finish to match with other HD accessories and of course prevent the steel from rusting over time. This is also a complete bolt-on install, no modifications, no drilling is required when it comes to your Bronco, and all of the hardware in order to bolt this into place comes in the kit. Now, this reinforcement kit is about $475, which is right in the middle of the road as far as price is concerned. Now, it is pricier than other braces and brackets that are simpler solutions compared to this, but as I said, this kit is designed to handle those higher loads for those extra large spares, considering the hinge replacement as well as the brace, not just the brace. Now, other similar choices to this will be on the same page as far as the price range is concerned, but they can include other options like an actual spare tire mount or accessory mounts. But if you're not worried about those, you're just worried about the hinges and supporting your tailgate with your oversized spare, then this hits all of those marks. Install is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You may need an extra hand just to make sure that this is aligned properly, but it should only take you about an hour or so to complete. However, at this point, I'm going to pass you over to one of our installers and they are going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can get this installed on your Bronco at home, or if you're just curious about the install. So that is going to wrap it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
For this install, you need a ratchet, a 13 swivel, 12, 10, T40 and T47 socket, a clip removal tool, flathead screwdriver, trim panel removal tool, tape, a marker, and a knife. All right, today we're going to be installing a tailgate reinforcement on our Bronco, so let's get started. So first thing we need to do is get our spare tire out of the way. So we're going to grab our impact and socket. Now, you may use a 19 or 21, I forget what the factory size is, but we have aftermarket wheels and lugs, so we'll be using our key. Now we can just pull our spare off and set it off on the side. So now that we got our spare tire out of the way, we need to mark all 4 corners on our tailgate because we will be removing it completely. This just helps us when realigning and going back on. Now I already did all 3 corners. I'm just going to show you on this one. Grab a roll of tape and just put it on the corner, put a piece, grab a Sharpie, you just do a couple lines straight across, then a knife or a razor blade, and just cut down the middle. That way when going back together, you can just match those lines up. I'll do the same thing for the other 3 corners, then we can get to disconnecting our wiring harness. So now we can disconnect our wiring harness. We just need to remove our 2 access panels here. So I'm gonna grab our trim panel removal tool and just pull those back. So we're gonna pull along this inside edge here and release our clips. You can set this aside. Same thing for this one, just go along our top. We can pull that off. So we're gonna come into this access panel here and we're gonna disconnect all 4 of our connectors. So you see 2 here, there's another one here, and there's another one up on top. It's gonna be hard to see, but they are all simple. Just push down the tab and pull back. That's what that one looks like off the top. And we have these connectors here. Now our wiring harness is gonna come through this access hole here. Feed that all through. And grab your clip removal tool and pop all these out. We can move our harness out of the way. Now there's this access panel that we need to remove in order to get to our hinge bolts. So we have 4 push clips along here. You'll see we have one broken here. It's not that big of a deal. We'll grab our clip removal tool, pop those out. So we have our 2 10mm bolts here and here. Ratchet and 10mm socket and take those out. We could just pull our panel out of the way. And set that inside our trunk, and you'll see we have access to our bolts now. At the bottom we have our strut here, so we're gonna grab a flathead screwdriver, and you see a little spring clip here. Just get underneath that and pull down, and that will release from our tailgate. We can just swing this and set this on the bumper. Now I grabbed myself a buddy to help support the tailgate while I take out these 4 13mm bolts. So I have my ratchet and a 13mm swivel socket, and take these out. So around our spare tire, we have 4 13mm bolts that we're gonna remove. So we're gonna grab our ratchet and 13mm socket, take those out. Now we're gonna take our factory hinges off. So we're gonna grab our ratchet and a T47 socket and take these 2 Torx bits out of each bracket. And you just take the bracket off. Same thing with the other one. Now we're gonna get ready to install our new hinge. All right, place that over top. Now you do want to make sure you have the right one in the right place. Just match up the ends here with the factory ones that you took off because they are different. And then we're going to use our factory bolts that we just took out to install our new hinges. So grab our ratchet, T47 socket, and tighten those 2 down. Good, do the same thing for the other one. Now we're gonna set our reinforcement bracket over. Just set that in place. You may need to go back and adjust the hinges just so the holes line up in here, but we already did that. So we'll get our 4 bolts in here first. So you're gonna find 4 countersunk Torx bolts. Gonna go 1 here and here in each bracket. We'll grab our ratchet and T40 socket and tighten these 4 down. Next we have our replacement hardware for the 4 bolts that we took out. So we have our bolt with our flat washer. We're going to thread all 4 of them in first. We're going to grab our ratchet with a 12mm socket and tighten all 4 of those down. Now we're gonna go ahead and get our buddy back in here and get him to help us get this back in place and then reinstall it with our factory hardware that we took out of our hinges. Now we're gonna grab our ratchet and 13mm swivel socket and tighten all 4 of these down. Now we're gonna leave this cover off afterwards just in case you need to come back and make any adjustments to these hinges. Next, we can put our shock back on underneath our tailgate. So that's just simply going to push over and lock into place. Then we can clip our wiring harness back in along the back of our tailgate, feed it through the hole, and plug it back in. Just push all our push clips back in. Feed that through. Get all of our connectors and plug them back in. So we have our 2 connectors right here. And then our 2 that go to our latch. This one goes up top. And this one to right here. We'll get our 2 tailgate covers back in place now. Line up all the tabs. Lock it down. On the end here, slide in these tabs first on the outer edge, and then clip in the inside. So we just closed our tailgate just to make sure everything lined up and adjusted as needed. So now we can put our cover back on since we don't need to get to these bolts anymore. So just gonna feed that behind our harness and down into place. Then we're going to reinstall our push clips. Now we have 2 broken ones, so we're just going to install one here and here, but you would have 4. And then we just have our 2 10mm bolts to put back in. So grab our ratchet and 10mm socket and tighten those 2 down. Next, we can put our spare tire back on. And re-secure it with our 3 lug nuts. Once you have this all secured, you can take the tape off all 4 corners, and then you're all set to go.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the Red Rock HD tailgate reinforcement kit fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos, and you can find this right here at extremeterrain.com.